ನನಗೆ
ಅಲ್ಲ ಈಗ ನಮ್ದು ರೆಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಹೋಗಿರೋದು ನಾನು ನೋಡೇ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಹೌದು, ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕೆಲವು ಕಡೆ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ನಿಮ್ದು
ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಬಂತ ಸರ್? ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ?
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ.
ಸರಿ ಸರ್, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಒಂದು 2 minutes ಅಲ್ಲಿ Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Union Budget 2021-22.
Good afternoon, sir.
So, today's resource person is Ravindranath Kaushik. Let me introduce our today's resource person. So, he's the cost and management accountant specialized in GST, direct taxes, project consulting, export and import management, and academic training. 11 years of industry experience and 10 years of professional consultants experience. His qualification is fellow member of the Institute of Cost Accountant of India, CMA, MPhil in economics, postgraduate degree in finance. Certification is certified in international taxation from IIIT WTO studies, certified in export and import management from Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, and his experience is independent consultant since 10 years in the area of internal audit and project management and consulting, represented and appears before various statutory authorities like Registrar of Companies, Income Tax Department, Commercial Tax Department, and GST authorities. Is having 11 years of industry experience, worked in various roles and responsibilities in finance and accounts domain, transitioned offshore client accounts, and managed a team size of around 30. Accomplished as a chairman 2018-19 Bangalore chapter of Cost Accountants, resource person in agriculture and MSME task force, assessors CII National Skill Development Corporation, executive member LUB Karnataka, member director tax expert committee BCIC, resource person in different occasions, and invited by many institutions to their board of studies meeting as a subject matter expert. So worked as a consultant in READ India, NRIF, NRI MIT, and AFC, worked for various projects of Karnataka Evaluation Authority, Watershed Program Evaluation Studies, KSFMBC Karnataka. So he's conducted several workshops, addressed resource persons, and delivered keynote addresses in various national, state, and UGC sponsored conferences, workshops, and seminars, addressed more than 40 online FDP, MDPs as resource person for various institutions, industrial bodies, association, MSME department during COVID-19, conducted more than 60 financial literacy programs to various target groups like students, SSD, professional, etc. He has been awarded Sadak Lifetime Achievement Award in 2018-19 by TMT. Participated in debates, live phone-in programs in national, Doordarshan, and private TV channels. With this brief introduction, I welcome Ravindranath Kaushik. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
And also welcome all the students and my colleagues for this present. All the students to keep your mic and video in mute condition. With this, sir, I once again welcome Ravindranath Kaushik. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for giving the good introduction about me, sir. Basuraju, Dr. Basuraju is the assistant professor. And also all the management team people from GMIT Davangere, and of course my dear students who are present today. So it's a very challenging time for us to make a presentation after post lunch. Okay, so I think most of you might have already had lunch, and addressing in a video conference like this after lunch session is a very challenging, not only for you people to listen, but also for me to present also. But somehow I will not make you sleepy or not make you not interested in this particular topic. And if your question, I think someone is switched on their audio.
Yeah.
Can you mute it? Santosh,
Yeah.
Santosh.
Dear student, keep mic and this one video in mute condition.
Yeah, fine. Thank you. Today the topic which has been told to me is to talk about union budget 2021-22. So before I go to the budget, I just want to introduce that particular topic because most of you might be from science background who might have joined MBA. Or of course, you might be from commerce stream also who might have joined MBA, but you might not have studied this particular subject of union budget in your class or in your syllabus, unless and until if you have some subject on economics or fiscal policy or monetary policy, then you might have just got some glance on what is this budget and all those things. So let me just introduce this, what is this union budget and why it's important and relevant. That first you need to understand. Before you go into what is the budget proposal for the current financial year, that is 2021 and 22, which is still not being passed in the parliament because finally this bill needs to go to Rajya Sabha and both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha should pass the bill. And finally it goes to the president. President, when he signs the bill, it becomes an act, finance act for this particular year. So the budget, present budget, whatever has been presented is effective from 1st of April 2021. So still the session is on, okay, parliament session is on this budget. So we are waiting for the final discussion to happen in both the houses of parliament. Since it's a finance bill, both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha should pass this bill. Okay, so if Rajya Sabha doesn't give the consent, then it will not go to the president. Okay, so that is how the thing works. If it is an ordinary bill other than finance bill, there is no need for getting concurrence from the Rajya Sabha, or it can be passed by calling both the joint session of the parliament and the bill can be passed. But that cannot happen in finance bill like budget. The budget needs to be approved in both the houses of parliament. Lok Sabha also should pass the bill, and also Rajya Sabha also should pass the bill after the discussion. So if the bill is not passed, then it will not be going to president, and president cannot give the consent if the bill is not passed in the both houses. So having said so, let me just briefly introduce this subject. So I have a brief presentation to make, okay, about union budget. So first and foremost thing, what is this budget? Okay, many of you might be thinking that it's a complicated topic, but it's not so complicated topic. When it comes to the question of budget, it's a report of the government finances in which revenue from all sources and outlay from all activities are consolidated. So what does this mean? So when I want to read a budget, the budget is first taking into consideration all the factors which are there, mainly about how the revenue of the particular nation needs to be raised from, what are the sources from which you raise the revenue from, and how you spend that revenue, whatever the revenue you have raised, right? And how do you make use of that revenue in the business? That's a very important thing. Sorry, Ravi, your phone. Yeah, sorry, I got the call. I just handed over the call to my assistant. Okay. So, yeah, how the revenue is received and how the revenue has been utilized for the coming years. That is what the budget is all about. So, budget is a very important policy document. Okay, it's a policy framework. It's just not getting the revenue and expending whatever the revenue has been received. It's not that. It's a policy matter. Okay, it goes into long-term implications. And whatever the government wants to spend for next 1 year or next couple of years will be decided in how the budget needs to be formulated. So it's not a simple mechanism under which this particular thing happens. It basically happens with a wide spectrum of activities which get into the process of making the budget itself. So in simple term, the budget is an annual statement of the revenue and expenditure of the government, which has the implication on policy matters. Okay, it's a important policy making decision which is there in the budget. So it's not just making a statement showing to the entire world that, okay, this is our revenues, this is our expenditure for the next 12 months. No, it's not like that. It's a documentation which goes towards the direction of where the economy needs to head in future. So it is something to do with economic implications, economic growth and development, that we call it as GDP, gross domestic product. So that is the focus on which the budget will be addressing various issues. So having said so, what are the objectives? If you want to see what are the objectives of a budget, first and foremost objective is reallocation of resources. See, whatever the resources which we are already using it, how do we reallocate it? Because you might have studied about allocation of resources. Here we are talking about reallocation of resources. What do you mean by reallocation? That means every year the budget will try to find out the areas where the money has already been utilized or where money has been already sanctioned for activities. So if that activity is not generating any good revenue or generating any capital formation in that country, right, then the government will rethink and try to remove that allocation, whatever was made in that earlier activity, and will try to reallocate the same to the other activity where the resources are really required. So that is very important exercise what the government does every year. That is reallocation of resources. The second one is reducing inequalities in income and wealth. Of course, budget is one policy documentation where the government aims to work towards removing the inequalities prevailing in the system. So it may be like taxing the rich or giving more subsidies to the middle class and poor people, so that the disposable income happens at each stage and against each categories of people. So this is a very important point what the budget focuses on. And the third one is contributing to economic growth. Of course, GDP is one factor under which the budget will be keenly looking at. So economic growth is measured in terms of gross domestic product. So it talks about consumptions, investment, government spending, and net of imports and exports. So this is how you talk about when you talk about a growth model. So when you are telling you want to achieve a growth is driven by these factors like consumption and investment factor, that is how much is disposable income is spent on demand side, and investment is on supply side. And of course, how the government spending happens on various projects which generates revenue for the future. And of course, the trade balance, that is your import and export balances. So economic growth in total is a concept which is measured through something called as national income. And the direction which is set forth will be in the form of gross domestic product called as GDP. Okay. So that is the contribution to economic growth. Budget focuses on those areas. Bringing economic stability. See, growth and stability are two words which are commonly coming in economics. So what do you mean by stability? See, there are different stages. Let us assume the stage of pandemic itself, that is COVID-19, which we all are facing for the last 12 months. There is a need for us to maintain stability in the economy. We should see that the unemployment problem should not go up, or the food crisis should not crop up in the situation as of today, or even the prices, okay, escalation in the price level or the inflation should not go beyond that, beyond a certain level. So that is how you need to maintain stability. Stability in terms of giving equal opportunity for all people and all the society categories which are there around us. So that is about economic stability. We are talking from the per se of maintaining a standard of living, decent standard of living, improving the purchasing power of the economy, and also creating employment, okay, which is very much required for driving the economy to the next level. So economic stability is attained only when you see all these things are growing at a constant rate. So that is what economic stability is all about. Then managing public enterprises. In India, we follow something called as mixed economy. We have government sector as well as private sector existing together. So public enterprises are those enterprises which are run by the government, which are mainly working in some key sectors area. But recently, there is tremendous change after the government announced the Foreign Direct Investments Policy, FDI, where they are allowing even the private and foreign companies to participate in all the public sector related initiatives. So if you see this year budget also, there are a lot of things which have happened in this budget. Announcements have been made where government is slowly trying to take their hands out of government control. So one of the key pillars today was about governance, more governance model rather than government interference. So towards maximum governance, minimum government. That's what the government has told in the 6 pillars, which has been told in Atmanirbhar Bharat. So government is somewhere trying to just come slow on this because they don't want to implement the public partnership in all the fields. So they are slowly moving towards privatizing the entire system, where earlier it was run through public sector enterprises. Since public sector enterprises are making huge loss because of a lot of factors which are there, which cannot be driven by government interference, now there is a time which has come where they want to slowly come out of this public enterprises. So managing the public enterprises, yes, in some key areas like defense, or in terms of where they need to maintain secrecy and all those things, where towards national security, wherever those areas are there, like ISRO or LRD or space research programs and all those things, where secrecy is the ultimate objective there, they are trying to not allow private participation in those areas directly. So yes, managing public enterprises is also one of the key objectives of the budget, and reducing regional difference, very, very, very important. So inequalities, removing the inequalities and reducing the regional difference. So that is, we have almost 29 states and 6 union territories today. So how do you maintain cordial relationship with all these things? How do you see that development happens in all these 29 states and 6 union territories? See, this can be done only if you can remove the regional disparities and encourage free competition among these states and union territories. So we need to focus on development of all the states and union territory at a time. So that is called as reducing regional disparities, and budget allocations are done keeping in mind, so which are the underdeveloped state, or which is underdeveloped union territory, or which is the place where we need to more push for industries and all those things. So basically the objective of budget is to remove regional disparities and reduce inequalities in income and wealth. So what are the components? These are the very important components of a budget. So if you can see there, revenue budget and capital budget are important things which are there in the budget proposals. So as the name itself tells, revenue is something which is from the day-to-day operations of how you can raise the revenue from. It can be in the form of revenue receipts as well as revenue expenditure. So the major source of revenue receipt is tax revenue. So tax revenue can come from either direct taxes in the form of income tax, or in the form of corporate tax, or in any form of direct taxes where the impact and incidence will be on the same person. And of course, we have indirect taxes, where indirect taxes is mainly constituent of GST today. And even the customs law is there, central excise is also there on some products, on manufactured products, and some state excise and all those things will be there, excise duties and so on. So customs, excise and your GST forms major part of your indirect tax, and both together forms the total tax revenue of the government. So that is the main source of revenue which the government takes from the citizens, and also from the business, and also from various industrial houses for various activities what they do. So again, non-tax revenue is there. Non-tax revenue can be dividend revenue from Reserve Bank of India. So government gets dividend revenue every year from Reserve Bank of India, and also they get disinvestment income in the form of selling the disinvestment shares and dividends from those companies, public sector units, dividend from public sector units, and all those things. So they form non-tax revenues, okay? So which is not the tax revenue which is coming directly from tax. Then we have revenue expenditure. Revenue expenditures are those expenditure in the form of interest payments and subsidies and all those things what government pays for various services and activities for which it does. So major component of this revenue expenditure is interest payment. So on borrowed fund, whatever the borrowed money is there, what we pay interest, right, that forms part of your revenue expenditure. Then comes capital budget. Capital receipts are receipts like borrowings. So any debts which you are borrowing for more than 1 year, or any long-term borrowings which you do. So borrowings can be either from the states you can borrow, or through treasury bills you can borrow from the market, or you can even borrow from the external sources, that is from other countries like ADB, IMF, World Bank, and all those things you can make borrowings. So any external borrowings or any domestic borrowings or any debt market borrowings, which in the form of treasury bills or any other thing, right? That forms part of your capital receipts. And capital expenditure is a major thing which the government is always concerned with, and what the budget looks into, because these are the assets which will be created over a period of time, the benefit of which will be derived over a long period of time. Example is construction of road; it's a capital expenditure, or construction of dams or irrigation canals. These are the expenditure which will be incurred by the government in order to get the benefit over a period of time. So capital expenditures, in simple term, it's called as capex. Capex is the short form of capital expenditure, and the major part of the expenditure will go to the capex, because that builds the economy, that creates jobs in this economy. So more the capital expenditure you incur, more the jobs you create, more the disposable income you create in the hands of public, so that they can spend, and that's how the multiplier effect of the economy works. So this is a short form of how the government budgets is drafted. Okay, what are the components and all those things. So budget can be either balance, surplus, or deficit. What do you mean by budget balance? So when your revenue, total revenue of from various sources is equal to the total expenditure, then it's called a balanced budget. What is surplus budget? When the total revenue from various activity is more than your total expenses, then it is a surplus budget. And what is deficit budget? Deficit budget is more of where you spend more than what you receive. So today in India, we are under the situation of deficit budgeting itself. So deficit budget is always good for the economy where things are growing or opportunities are coming and where the expansion is taking place. Then we need to have deficit budget only. Okay, surplus budget and balanced budget is not advocated for any growth economy. So whenever we talk about growth economy, it is more of investment, more and more borrowings and putting that into the system where you generate a lot of employment opportunities, create more and more employment, and see the economy multiplies over a period of time. So that will be the objective of deficit financing. So deficit financing is a situation where your expenditures are more than your income. So revenue will be less, expenditure will be more. So expenditure means both revenue or capital expenditure, both put together, and your total revenue, that is revenue receipts from revenue aspects and from capital aspects. So both put together, if your expenditure is more than your revenue, then you come under deficit budgeting. So deficit budgeting is a situation where you go for external borrowings or domestic borrowings or from more market borrowings. This is where you go for more disinvestment of your public companies and all those things, where you generate revenue to the government in order to fund the deficit balance. Then various deficits, terminologies are there, which is very important. First one is called as revenue deficit. So these are the common terms which will be used in budget at the time of preparation of budget. So what do you mean by revenue deficit? Means when your revenue expenditure exceeds your revenue receipt. I told you what are revenue receipts. Revenue receipts are basically tax revenues. Okay, what are the money you're getting from? Revenue you're getting from income tax, corporation tax, and GST and all those things. They form part of revenue receipts. And similarly, when you spend on interest payments, subsidies, and all those things, then it becomes revenue expenditure. So government pays a lot of pension money and a lot of gratuity, pension for government employees and for defense employees and all those things. Retired people benefits and all your farmers benefit schemes and all are there, right? So government pays money for that. So from where they are paying that money? They are paying that money from your revenue receipts in the form of taxes. So that difference is called as revenue deficit. Then comes fiscal deficit, very important. Fiscal deficit is one indicator for how much the country should go for borrowing. So what is the borrowing the country should do in that particular year? That is called as fiscal deficit. So government is very keen on this fiscal deficit, because the actual norm in the economy says that your fiscal deficit should be maintained at 3% of your GDP. But normally, during the COVID season, right, we went for more of spending rather than generating more of revenue. So this is a very challenging situation where our fiscal deficit cannot be at a lower level. 3%, 4% is not, you cannot follow that norms, whatever is told. So fiscal deficit, you need to go for more borrowings, provided that borrowing money is utilized in a proper way. So borrowing and just clearing of your non-tax related items or something like that, or spending lavishly in the economy without creating any jobs, will not help you out. This is what is happening in Pakistan today. So Pakistan fiscal deficit is more, but they are not able to spend that money on development activities. They are using it for clearing their old balances which are due from outsiders, what they have borrowed, or from those sectors of economy where it is not generating any resources for them. So the diversion of this receipts, whatever is there, right, that has created a lot of problem internally in Pakistan, and that's how their currency is getting hit badly. And the inflation has taken over the entire economy now. So they are totally debt-driven country today, and they have borrowed more and more, but they are not used for development activities. So fiscal deficit is the indicator or index for how the borrowing should happen and how the money should be utilized for development activities. So in simple, the formula is total expenditure, that is both capital and revenue expenditure, minus your revenue receipts plus non-debt capital receipts. So non-debt means those debts which are borrowings we are talking about. So it does not include borrowings. So the difference, whatever is there, total expenditure minus your revenue receipts plus other borrowings other than capital borrowings, it shows what is the projection for you to go for long-term borrowings. So what are the borrowings you need to go for? That is what the fiscal deficit says. So how much the economy should borrow. So that is given in the fiscal deficit. So whatever the deficit comes, that is the money what the government should go for borrowings from various sources. So this is an indicator for borrowing. Fiscal deficit is an indicator for borrowing. So over a period of time, if the fiscal deficits keep on increasing, then it means you need to go for more and more borrowings. So more and more borrowings you go for, more and more interest you need to pay. So interest is a cost which will be charged because you need to repay the principal and also the interest. So just like how you happen to have this in your business also, right? How you run a company. When the company is going for more and more borrowings, then it will be a charge on profit and loss account, right? You need to pay that interest first. Then only you will get all the other expenses driven through that. That is what we call it as EBIT, earning before interest and tax and operating profit and all those things. Similar concept is applicable here also, but it is in a different way. So if you are borrowing more and more without creating more and more assets, then it's a big issue. Okay, so because you are borrowing in the name of the nation will be going for the debt trap if you don't have a proper or systematic way of borrowing in your hand. So that is fiscal deficit. Primary deficit is nothing but it shows about the cost of interest, because when we talk about the implication of what exactly the principal amount or what is the exact amount of outstanding loan which is there, your fiscal deficit will not give that figure. But your primary deficit will give that because it is net of interest payment. So whatever is the amount outstanding which is lying, okay, which is the commitment for the country, is what it is told in primary deficit. So fiscal deficit, it shows only what is the amount you are supposed to borrow, and primary deficit shows what is the interest commitment you have on that borrowed fund. So more the interest you are paying, it will be taking out your more surpluses from your fiscal deficit. So it's not a warranted situation. So fiscal deficit along with primary deficit needs to be studied whenever you are going for more borrowings. So these are the very important terminologies which are there in budget, which you should be aware of. Then comes the instruments. So what are the various instruments under which the government goes for using it in the budget means? There are two major instruments. One is called as fiscal policy measures and the other one is called as monetary policy measures. So government fiscal policy is the more appropriate thing what the government will be always looking at, because monetary policy in India is managed by Reserve Bank of India. So RBI, what we call it as central bank, they are the people who are autonomous body, which is not directly coming under the government control. So RBI doesn't come under government control in India. So it has its own autonomous powers under which it works. Even though the governor of RBI is appointed by the government, but their policy matters and decision making is left for them to decide. So government can have only the saying authority here. Government can give suggestions. Government can share their views with RBI. But it is left to RBI to decide whether to take that suggestions or whether to take that views while they are forming the monetary policy. That means in India, Reserve Bank has been given full freedom. Okay, they will operate on its own because they are dealing with a very important and very sensitive area of managing the value of rupee. So their main focus is on monetary related activities. They focus only on monetary related activities. So what are the two important things they do is, one is to maintain the inflation at a regular normal level. That is very important. So that the price stability will be achieved over a period of time. Because maintaining price at a controllable level and controlling the inflation, both wholesale and retail inflation, is very important thing. So many times when government comes and says reduce the interest rate, RBI says no, we'll see the economy and we'll do it. And in the last COVID situation also, if you see, there were two stimulus package which was announced, one from the government and other from the Reserve Bank of India. So first was RBI, which came out with the stimulus package. RBI governor came out with the stimulus package and he told that no need to pay principal and interest for 6 months. We will just carry forward those things to the next. See, those are the policies matters from the banking sector and the cash sector side, which the RBI announced. So RBI has been given full power in India to where even though they come under the governance of Reserve Government of India, but it's a regulator. They come under RBI Act. RBI is a regulator which is coming under a different act of parliament, where RBI focuses majorly on the banking sector and other financial institution sector, which drives the economy. So this is the first time which has happened in the entire world. In US also, central bank did not come up with any stimulus package. It was only the government which came up with the stimulus package there. But in India, both RBI and the government came together and came out with the different stimulus package in order to protect the industry and in order to protect the economy from collapsing. So that's why we were able to rebound ourselves within a short span of time, even though we were having a bad experience which we had inherited from the last year. Our economy was not doing good. Before COVID also, our economy was not doing good. And COVID is again one more thing which really came as a bane for our economic crisis. So even though we had a very bad situation inherited before COVID and at the time of COVID also, but our economy started bouncing back at a very faster rate. Even the IMF agreed that, okay, Indian economy has bounced back. So this bouncing back happened just because of these two policy matters which were discussed in detail with different aspects. So there, even though the government interfered and told that you need to give interest rate at a very lesser rate and protect the small scale industries, MSMEs and all those things, it was ultimately the RBI which decided on the rates of interest and all those things. So monetary policy and fiscal policy are two important things. Fiscal policy takes care of economic growth and full employment. That is in the full level of the government to do it. And whatever the policies like tax matters, public finance and all those things will be in the hands of government. But monetary policy will be in the hands of Reserve Bank of India. So there is a clear demarcation of roles which has been given to these two people. And accordingly, they have done a very great job and they last 8 to 9 months. And that is where the economy is now bouncing back because of the hard efforts what they did it in a different phase out manner. That has resulted in the economy to progress and prosper today. So this is about the general thought of union budget. This is how the budgets are driven. And few important changes which has taken place in the budget over a period of time is that the railway budget has been merged with the union budget, finance budget now. And also the dates of budget has been preponed. Earlier it used to be normally on 28th of February every year. But now it has been changed to 1st of February. That is, we have preponed the budget period itself. So earlier, what used to happen 28 when the budget used to happen on the month end of February. So it used to take another 1 month to call a budget session to put the bill in both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha to discuss, and Finance Minister to give statement and Prime Minister to address and all those things. So we used to waste time, because by the time the budget used to be discussed and moved into the next level, February, March, you would have gone. And there was no time for us to implement the budget from 1st of April, because the discussion should happen, that budget should go to the president should give the assent. So it's all policy matters. Okay, it used to take 2 months, at least minimum 2 months time. So even though February was the budget date where the finance minister used to read the budget in parliament, but by the time the budget used to be implemented, it used to be 1st of June. Even though we did budget for 12 months, but actually the budget covered for a period of only 10 months, because budget was enacted by the president by giving his consent and gazetting it on 1st of June. So from 1st of June to 31st of March, it is only 10 months. That means we lost 2 months, but only in preparation and getting the approval and president giving the consent for the budget. So earlier we used to do budget for 12 months, but we used to lose at least 2 to 1 month in this process of finalizing and getting the consent for the budget itself. But today that is not the case. February 1st is what the budget date is. And immediately next day itself, they will call for the budget session. And since there is no railway budget separately, earlier railway budget used to be discussed differently and finance budget used to be taken separately. So this used to kill a lot of time. So since government merged this railway budget with finance budget and also preponed the date for 1st February, now the budget, everything discussion will happen within February itself. So March is the time when it goes for the president to give consent, and by the end of or mid of March, the president gives the consent, and from 1st of April, the budget gets implemented. So 1st April to 31st March, we are getting 12 months full time now. So for implementation of the budget. So we are getting 12 full months now. Earlier, it used to be 10 or 11 months max we used to get. We used to lose 1 or 2 months in implementing the budget. So that thing has come down. Okay. Coming back to Union Budget 2011, I would just like to run through some of the changes what has taken place in the current budget. So I'll just touch upon only those very important areas where I think you people will be interesting to know. Okay, and let me make one more presentation on the same. I'll open one more file. One second, just hold on. Yeah. Okay, current budget, one disclosure what I want to make before going to the current union budget which started from 1st of April 2021 to 22, and the series of discussion which is going on now on this budget is, we should not read this budget in isolation with the stimulus package which was announced by the government in July 2020. So the Honorable Finance Minister made an announcement for 20 lakh crore schemes. Okay, on in the month of July 2020. That is during the after the post lockdown and during the COVID situation. So there were some lot of announcements which were made, especially for various sectors. It covered defense, it covered agriculture, it covered industry, it covered education, it covered rural employment, it covered infrastructure. So all the major sectors of the economy were covered, even the ports and energy sector, everything was covered in her address on the 4 times what she came out and she made different schemes, in installment schemes, what she announced as a stimulus package to bring back the economy to the normalcy. So that is one thing which is highly appreciable because normally what the other countries did is they came out with one package, one single package at one point of time. But in India, that was not the case what we did. We went by sector to sector and we just studied the impact of COVID on different sector, and based on that, we took a decision. And that is how the government came out with the concept of Atmanirbhar Bharat. So Atmanirbhar Bharat is more of giving self-sufficiency to India. So we need to now, earlier before COVID happened, right? We were a little bit of confused. Our economy was a little bit in confusion stage because we were trying to just implement whatever the globalization aspects was there. We never thought of whether we were ready to face the challenges, whether our sector or economy is good enough or it's in a position where we can take up the challenges of whatever the global scenarios changes were taking place. We never matched our economy to meet the global requirements. But today, Atmanirbhar Bharat is one thing where we are talking about self-reliant India, where our focus is more on developing a system within the economy where society will drive the economy now. So that's what the Prime Minister address was all about. Local to local, local to global. That's what he called us. So whatever the social aspects or societal things we are doing at a small scale, we need to blow it up now into a bigger scale, and that needs to now take over the entire economy. And that will be the factor which will be showcased to the entire globe. So that means we are going for the reverse working of how the sector should look like. Earlier, we went for globalization and tried to copy that globalization model into our system. And that was not a very effective tool. And we have seen how the... Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Vinayak, please mute your mic.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so earlier our economy was moving into a different direction altogether because when we went for 1991 liberalization, privatization, and globalization, we wanted to bring the changes from the global to the local level. But whether our local level was competent enough, whether we took all the steps which can make our local economy stronger to face the competition of the global world was something where we failed actually. So Atmanirbhar Bharat is something where we tell first, let us develop indigenously. Let us focus on made in India and make in India. Let us focus more on giving employment to our people, more developing our infrastructure facilities, more focus on rural development. So since today more than 55% of our population is still staying in rural areas, the foremost objective of India should be to equip the rural economy and build infrastructure so that we can create good avenues in the rural market today. On the supply side, yes, we have done a great job through Atmanirbhar 20 lakh crore package, whatever was there. It is more of supply side economy. But where is the demand? How do you create demand? Demand is created by employment. That is one factor. Second factor is you need to give more disposable income in the pockets of the common man. So they are the people who will be spending more and more money. Spending is one thing which you need to encourage now. So one side, the government has pushed supply side by coming up with a lot of initiatives. Then equally now they need to push for demand side where they need to create jobs in the economy. That is the first thing. And the second thing is they need to give a lot of disposable income in the hands of people so that they can go and spend. More the spending happens, more the demand creates, and more the demand creates, more the supply happens. More the supply happens, that's how the economy uses the resources. So this is how the economy works. And today, the union budget, whatever has been presented, focuses on these 6 pillars. So what are the 6 pillars? One is health and well-being. Government has focused more on health and well-being. For the first time, this is the focus point of government where they are spending huge amount of money on health and wealth. So all these years, health and well-being was not concentrated as one of the major activities because health and well-being was more with the private sector rather than with government sectors. So you know the situation of how the government hospital used to work and how the private hospital got encouragement from various sources. But still, it has become a very costly affair for a common man to get the services from private hospitals. So government for the first time has come up with a lot of initiative here where they want to equip the government health programs especially. So it can be like the health mission plan which has been set up with the government agencies and government tying up with various private health sectors in order to promote its vast health program. So for the first time, government has taken initiative for spending more on health related things. So this is one beauty aspects of the current budget, where government is focusing more on health reforms to reach health to all common people. So irrespective of the status under which they are in, it needs to be run through the to the lower sections of the people should be covered to health mission. That's what the government objective is. Second is capital and infrastructure. Yes, of course, infrastructure is one major thing. If you want to develop today, if you want to create more and more job, the only sector which can absorb job in today's situation is through infrastructure. Your ITBT cannot give all these things, because ITBT is moving towards more technology and innovation. They are going for all their artificial intelligence and machine learning languages and all those things, robotics and all those things, which doesn't create jobs. It actually takes away job. So IT, BT and all those companies which are there, right, they are not the job providers. Okay, so there are a lot of things which are changing in that sector, wherein the job market is not good in those sectors after the COVID era and all those things. So what is the only source from which it can create job is it's through infrastructure development. Infrastructure can be development of roads, or development of highways, state highways, communication systems, water irrigation facilities, or other employment generation programs like creating hubs like what the budget has announced for textile hubs. 7 textile hubs will be coming up. So these are the things which can create a lot of jobs, creating SEZs, EOUs and all these things. So if these are the infrastructure things what can create jobs, they are the major sources for the future economy, because once you create job, they are the people who will be spending much. More the spending, more the economy progresses. So supply side is also very important, demand side is also very important. Supply side, government is pushing reforms, and that absorption of that supply side reforms will happen only when there are people to buy that products. When there are small people who are ready to spend their money and try to acquire those products. So that is how the economy works actually. So the second important pillar which has been touched upon in this budget is infrastructure. They have focused more on infrastructure. Then they have gone for inclusive development, that is taking into consideration the digital market, where digital economy which is happening, right? They want to bring inclusives, that is they want to bring all the people under one umbrella. So earlier, most of the people were left out of the banking environment. So government came up with the Jan Dhan Yojana, and also with the JAM technology, where Jan Dhan, Aadhaar and mobile were linked together. So the basic objective of this is to see that each and every people in the system is connected together. So there should not be anyone who has been deprived of any benefits of the government, like the direct cash benefit scheme, which the government has introduced in a beautiful way, for pension dispersal, or for gas connection dispersal, and all these things, Ujjwala Yojana and all those things, what government has done, they have gone for more of inclusive development. That means they want to bring all the sections of society and all the sections of people under one umbrella through digital connectivity. So today, Aadhaar is one thing which has reached almost around 121 crore population. This is one of the biggest achievement of any government in the world, where they have given one such a big country like India, where we are around 134 crores population. 121 crore population is already covered with Aadhaar. So the process of transferring the benefits, various government benefits and schemes, has become very easy just because of digital connectivity and connectivity through the Jan Dhan accounts also. So Jan Dhan account, more than 40 crore Jan Dhan accounts have been opened. Jan Dhan account, you know that this is open only for those people who don't have regular banking system. So 40 crore people have been coming around Jan Dhan account. And Aadhaar and Jan Dhan is one major thing which has taken the economy into the next level of India. That is reinvigorating human capital. So that is basically about your education thing. So they have touched upon more on education front also in this budget, and allocations have been made on this human capital also. Then innovation and R&D, this is one area where India all these days were lagging behind. And in this budget, 50,000 crore has been earmarked for R&D, research and development. See, this is one area where India used to lose a lot of talents. You people know that we are proud enough to call that IBM has 40% Indians, NASA has 30% Indians, and name any company, Microsoft or whichever big company, you say that 45% Indians work there, 50% Indians work there. So what is that we are getting at the end of the day? If our people are going and working and creating wealth for US there, or creating wealth for UK there. So what is India getting in return? Okay, so India is losing talent actually. India is losing the innovative technology, the thinking power which was there in India. They study in India, they get graduated in India, they make use of all the resources in India, but end of the day, their knowledge is utilized for the development of some other country. So that should not happen. So government has now thought that, yes, we need to see that our people will stay back in India. We create an environment wherein we encourage research and development to happen in India. So you know that in the last few days, few months, how the things have changed in India. India has become one country which has launched 21 satellites at a point of time, which has not been done by any other country. We were the people who launched the mission Moon, Chandrayaan project, at a very, very, very lesser cost compared to any global people who have gone to Moon and done that research work. And similarly, we were almost successful in launching a satellite to Mars, Mangalyaan. So now, yes, we are in a position to show that, yes, India can do it. And we are in a mission mode now to even send a human being to space. And I think by 2022, India will be in a position to send a human being to space. So yes, that is what we are into. And if you look into in the COVID time, India never used to manufacture any ventilator. We used to import ventilators from outside India. But today that is not a situation. We are in a position to export ventilators to outside India. Similarly, COVID vaccine. So India is now in a position to export doses of COVID vaccine to almost 47 countries across the world. This is nothing which we never thought of India will do on these things. PPE kit also, manufacturing of PPE kit, we used to import that. But today, we have been in a position where we are in a capacity to go and export PPE kit to the entire world today. So I think India is changed as a country now. India is a country which is now heading towards a lot of development and progress activities. So how is this happening? This is happening because government is now keenly focusing on innovation and R&D, research and development. So R&D is one of the important and major thing, and government in this budget has earmarked 50,000 crores for R&D activities. So innovation and R&D has been given a very good push here, because earlier our total expenditure on R&D used to be less than 1.6% of GDP. When you see Korea and Japan and all those countries, right, they spend around 5.6% of GDP goes for research and development activities. But India as a country, we did not spend on research and development. Instead, we spent a lot on defense sector. Today, India is spending more on R&D. India is also spending more on health sectors. Earlier, we used to spend more on defense sectors. We used to give more money for subsidies. Subsidies were something where most of the borrowed money used to go. And that is where we could not develop our economy, because major source of our revenue used to be going as fertilizer subsidy, fuel subsidy or food subsidy, or it used to go to defense. Today, Atmanirbhar Bharat has given an opportunity for our defense sector, where more than 60% of our defense equipment is indigenously done within India. We are not going for importing defense materials or components from outside India. Our made in India products, our made in India companies, aero engineering companies are working in a very good hub, which is supporting the defense sector in India. So Tejas, one of the light combat aircraft, which has been designed by LCA, right? So now 80 LCAs have been will be manufactured in India at a cost of 40,000 crores. And this will be done indigenously within India. There is no importing of any equipment from outside India. think about how much revenue will come within India, and there is a lot of demand for this aircraft outside India also. Today, we are moving into a situation where we will be exporting fighter aircrafts to other countries. Just like how we used to buy Mirage, Sukhoi, and Rafale and all those things from outside India, right? Today, India has been placed in such a position where we will be exporting even the fighter aircraft. So it was something which was never thought of all these years in India. And today, because of R&D, Atmanirbhar Bharat, we are in a position now to go beyond our thinking and create a hub for our research and development, and also to do all our exports. That is innovation and R&D. And the last one is minimum government and maximum governance. As I was telling you about minimum government and maximum governance, this is one of the key areas where the government doesn't want to interfere in future. That's where in the budget they have given the proposal of upgrading the 7 ports. 7 porters, they want to upgrade it. So whatever the old ports were there, right, during the old time, British era and all those things, that ports are now getting upgraded to the next level. That ports are getting now upgraded. So that upgradation is happening through PPP mode, that is public-private partnership mode. So you have seen the railways. So anyone who are traveling in railways for so many years, you might have known how railways were working over the period of time. So can you just sit and think back how the railways were 4 years back and how railways are doing today? There is a tremendous change in the railway itself. The ambience, the environment under which the railway platforms are designed, and the Wi-Fi connectivity given in the rail, and the online booking facilities which are available on your mobile and net, the internet. See, there are a lot of changes which has taken place, and even when you enter into a railway cabin or even the railway coaches, right, you can see how beautifully that railway coaches have been maintained. So, and the timing, very important is timing. So the timings they follow, right? Earlier, we never used to see that timing used to be followed in railways, but today you just have some few minutes of difference, but train comes on time today and it leaves on time. So how this happened? This happened because of the development activities which has been taken place because of public-private partnership. Today, railway has been privatized. Many areas in railways have been privatized. Similarly, they are expecting even to do in the banking sector. If you are regularly reader of newspaper, I think you might be knowing there are already 4 nationalized banks which are in queue to become privatized. So government is slowly moving towards privatization of the key core activities so that they can push for development. Unless and until you go for privatization, it's very difficult for you to go for development of activities. So government is pushing towards that. So I'll just take you through various schemes, whatever I discussed. In a small time, I'll just explain you what are the important things which is relevant for your side. So first one is health and well-being. I told 2,23 crores, 2,23,846 crores has been earmarked. One is giving vaccine to all the people in the India. That is already 1.5 crore vaccine have been already given in the first shot. So second shot, they are already in the plans of going for administrating vaccines across India. So one is COVID vaccine is one thing which will be, government will be promoting at a faster rate. And pneumococcal vaccine, this is especially for kids. So more than 50,000 kids in India die because of this health breathing related issues, pneumonia and all those things. So in order to just take a drive like what the polio drive was done, in order to eliminate polio across India, the similar thing has been earmarked now by government in order to administer all the kids, okay, with pneumococcal vaccine, which is mainly to prevent pneumonia in kids, which is killing more than 50,000 kids in a year. So government has come up with this scheme. Last time they told about Indradhanush scheme, which was a very successful scheme for immunizing the kids, small kids. And now they have come up with pneumococcal, especially to prevent pneumonia in small kids. And the government has also earmarked 64,000 crores for Swasth Bharat Yojana, which is mainly focusing on various Swasthya mission, that is healthy mission plans. So they have rolled out a lot of health mission plans, and in order to support that, 64,000 crores has been earmarked. And the very important thing is about nutrition. So we have underweight kids still in economy. Kids are being dying because of malnutrition and all those things in a lot of villages and more of rural areas. So in order to meet that challenge, Mission Poshan 2.0 has been launched, basically to focus on nutrition levels in kids. So these are all very ambitious projects what the government has launched. And water supply is one thing which the government has come up with a very big scale. They are spending around 2,87,000 crores under Jal Jeevan Mission. That is a mission for giving tap water to all the cities. So all the cities that is in urban areas will be covered with healthy and good drinking water facilities. So contaminated water, I think we know that people are suffering from a lot of waterborne diseases across India because of drinking the contaminated water. So government has taken this as a mission mode, and they want to supply healthy water and pure water to each and every individual household across all the districts and all the cities in the urban areas. And for that, they have called it as Jal Jeevan Mission. And for that, they have allocated 2,87,000 crores. Then Swachh Bharat Mission, and also these things are very important and relevant, and they are doing it in a better way. And clear air policy is one thing which the government has addressed in this budget, because pollution is a very important and critical thing which is happening in India. So they have given the good allocation around 2,217 crores in order to clean the environment. And scrapping policy, which is one of the oldest policy which was thought of, and government has come up with this scrapping policy now. And this scrapping policy for personal vehicle 20 years they have told, and for commercial vehicle they it as 15 years. So they have come up with a very this is the old demand which was placed by a lot of people, because we see on roads vehicle which is not even completed the FCs, that is fitness certificates, still they are driving those vehicles on road, and that is causing huge pollution and noise and all those things. So government has come up with a very good scrapping policy in this budget. Then we have this is, I don't think it's required for, yeah, textile. I was telling you, this is one sector which can create huge jobs. So, and India, traditionally, we are known for export of a lot of textile products. So now the government has come up with 7 textile parks, which they are planning to set up in the next 3 years in various states. So this will give boost to textile sector, which is one of the huge employment generating sector. And also they have started with mega investment textile parks will be set up under the PLI schemes. That is a productivity linked incentive scheme. So earlier productivity linked incentive scheme was only for electrical and electronic components, but today they have extended that scheme benefits even to the mega textile plants also. So textile has been given a boost, because that can give a lot of opportunities for employment and for export opportunities. And infrastructure, as I was telling you, this is one of the sectors where government is focusing more on. So 20,000 crore is set up to set up developing financial institutions. So the role of a DFI is to only look into infrastructure related. They are the people who will be giving going forward approvals. So no need to go for government and government related agencies for taking approvals in long run. So there is a separate body now which has been created as a DFI, where you can approach DFI and get your project sanctioned, so that you can drive the project in a very short span of time and a better way. So debt financing by foreign portfolio investors, this is one important thing, because infrastructure requires huge funding. So where do you raise that fund from? So they have now told that even the foreign portfolio investors, who are called as FPIs, we used to now only invest in shares and stocks, right? Now they have been given green signal to put the money in even debt financing, that is in bonds, bond market. So now we can see huge from FPIs even in debt segment also. So earlier they used to focus only on share market, on stocks and shares. They used to put the money in. Now they have been asked to even invest in debt financing. That is basically in bonds and debentures and all those things, which will be floated in the coming months. So I think that is a very good move, and that's how the share market reacted positively during the budget day. So if you are a person who is interested in stock markets, if you see the last 4 years budget, and if you see this year budget, there was a very big change. The capital market positively responded to the budget for the first time in the last 4.5 years. So earlier, it used to be always the market used to crash or market used to fall during the budget day. But this time, not even on the budget day, the next couple of days also, the market went up because there was a lot of positive announcement which was done in the capital market side. So that is the beauty of this year's budget, where it showed a positive scene in the capital markets. And capital budget has been increased out of 34 lakh crore mega expenditure budget what the government has given in this year, right? Almost 5.54 lakh is for capital expenditure. Government is trying to push more and more money on infrastructure development and creating capital assets so that they can create more employment opportunities. So that is one of the focus under which the government has given more and more allocations for capex, that is capital expenditures. So road and highways are one sector which is being pushed at a very maximum investments are done. Around 1.18 lakh crores has been sanctioned for National Highway Authority and for development of corridors. So that is expressways and all those things in selected states. So yes, there is a need for these express corridors and economic progress, and also along with them to link it to national highways. So for that, 1.18 crore has been sanctioned, apart from your 5.84 crores which has been lakh crores which has been sanctioned for infrastructure. So this is out of that 5.584 lakhs crore what we are talking about. Then railway, yes, 1,10,000 crore for railway has been earmarked for developing various railway routes. New routes will be taken up, and government has given green signal for going for Northeastern Railway. That's a very important thing. Because Northeast is one states which have not been connected with good rail facilities. So government has told that yes, we will be connecting the entire India with railway networks, and that is a plan what they have told about. And 100% electrification of broad gauge will happen within this year. So that is a very good sign, because still we use a lot of coal-based engines in railways. Okay, so that demand for coal will be reduced because everything will be electrified in the coming months. So coal demand, excess of coal demand in the railways will come down gradually, and it has come down almost in all other states. But there are some states where still electrification has not happened on the broad gauge lines. So then government has pushed for 100% electrification of all these broad gauge. So this will make the demand for coal to come down in the coming years. So that is one of the beautiful thing. It not only lessen the demand for coal, it will also create an environment friendly activity, because coal is again for fuel which creates a lot of climatic issues. So I think that is one important thing what they've done. Urban infrastructure, they have given more importance to the luxury buses within cities and metro trains. So government has identified a lot of metro train projects, whichever were pending will be completed within span, and new project proposal is also being placed under PPP mode in order to go for high tech or what you call as innovative mode of running buses in cities. Okay, so high tech buses will come in cities for 20,000. Will be modernizing it, and a separate fund has been done through PPP mode. That's what the government has said. So ports, I told you 7 major ports will be moving towards maintenance by PPP mode. That is private-public partnership mode. Even the 7 major ports will be developed into the high port capacity. See, because Atmanirbhar Bharat is focusing on local to global. So when I'm telling global, we need to create so much infrastructure for our export things, where we store the consignment, we move the consignment to foreign countries and all those things. And 90% of our export takes place on sea routes. So we need to have infrastructure facilities so that we can move that containers or storage things or equipments or goods from one place to another in a very beautiful way. So there are a lot of things. Mercantile shipping amendments have been done, and also they have upgraded this major ports, 7 major ports into the next level. So for that they have earmarked 2,000 crores. So it's a very good move actually, in order to promote more and more exports, which will be coming on the way. Because just announcing Atmanirbhar Bharat will not help you out unless you create infrastructure to promote that activities. That's what exactly government is doing. They are trying to bring all the resources first under one particular development stage, so that as soon as the economy takes off, the sectors which depends on that also should move towards the next level of supporting that. So that is basically about the supply part, supply chain management part, which the government has worked. And Ujjwala scheme, I was talking about the gas connectivity, all those things. It has been now extended for 1 crore more beneficiaries. Okay, so that was a very good initiative. And security markets, this is one thing which I want to just explain you. Capital market, because most of your MBA students, you will be having this topic of capital markets. So now government, what they have done, there are 4 different acts which are there in capital market. One is, of course, SEBI Act, Security of India. The second one is the Depository Act. The third one is the State Contract Act is there, and the Central Contract Act is there. So these are all the acts which are governing your security, which is governing your capital markets. So what government has done, we'll done away with all these 4 acts and will bring a common code. Just like how they bought labor code or labor relationship code, wage code, all those things, they even want to bring capital market code, security market code it is called as. So they want to bring security market code by taking away all these acts, 4 acts, and bringing a code in place of that. So that's a very beautiful move and good move, because you will be done away with all your so many requirements which you need to satisfy, KYC norms, all those things, whatever you used to satisfy with each and every statutory authority, right? Now that gets minimized. So you can focus on one type of definition, one type of law here. Through code, you can easily codify the procedures and make it very simple, so that it becomes more investor friendly. Okay, that's what the government has done now. And world-class fintech hub, they want to raise the capital market into the next level, where they want to make a fintech hub of all the capital market related trading based systems. So if you are people who are dealing in capital markets, many new instruments are coming, capital market instruments are coming into India. So many investors from foreign countries are coming into Indian markets to invest. So they expect the common type of portals or common type of softwares to deal with or to trade with. So keeping this in mind, the government has now thought of fintech hub to be set up under stock market, that is capital markets. And capital infusion of 1,000 crores has been earmarked for 2 sectors, mainly energy sector. One is solar based energy. So solar based energy is one sector for which the government is promoting much, because we should move towards renewable energy. That's what the government is, because they want to reduce carbon emission and climate change, whatever is taking place, they want to bring it under control. So they want to promote more solar energy. That's why they are focusing on capital infusion to the extent of 1,000 crores in that sector. This is one important change, increase of FDI in insurance sector. So insurance sector, which was under 49% FDI, now has gone for 74, provided there are some clauses which will be there. So now insurance sector has been thrown open for foreign competition. So earlier 49% was the FDI what the government kept there, but now it has gone up by gone up to 74%. So now you can see more foreign participation. Already one general insurance company has already been privatized now. So government slowly is moving towards privatization of insurance sector also. So that is what we can see from all these changes what has been announced in this budget. And very good news is asset reconstruction company has been set up, especially to manage all the bad bank. Okay, so there was a concept called as bad bank concept which government was thinking, but somehow they did not bring that concept. Instead of that, they have bought something called as Asset Reconstruction Company Limited, wherein all your bad loans, NPAs, which goes into the various banking sector, right? Now, no need for bank to worry about all these NPAs. So any NPA related issues, it will be moved to the Asset Reconstruction Company. So they are the company which follows up with the NPA holders, and they try to see how the problem can be solved. So now banking sector can focus more on their core banking activities of lending and depositing. So they should not worry much of their time on NPA management. So NPA management is one function which would be moved out from the banking sector to asset reconstruction companies. So these are the new companies which will be set up, and the modalities and all those things will be coming out in the details next year, what the budget speech was. And they want to just see that whatever the asset reconstruction company's role is to manage the NPAs, to see that they collect the NPAs, do the settlements and all those things. So that will not come under the purview of the regular banking activities. So banks will be now focusing only on their core activities. Okay, then company matters. Some of the major changes in company matters are they have, I think, decriminalizing the limited liability partnership. Earlier, there was a provision in the LLP Act to prosecute a person who doesn't follow the norms, like disclosing the solvency position under Form 10 and all those things. So now what the government has done, there is no need for making it as a criminal activity, which will be prosecuted under various criminal procedure code of Indian judiciary. So there is no decriminalization of any activity performed by any LLP person. So going forward, we have removed that clause. That's what the government has told. Remove the decriminalization clause wherever is applicable in the LLP Act, so that no one should be harassed. No person who wants to set up business as a LLP should be harassed. So that is the ultimate objective of the government, and promoting startups and innovators by incentivizing incorporation of one-person company. So this is a very great move actually. So startups and innovations can now start up one-person company. So earlier it was restricted, now they have been made to it. E-courts have been set up. This is very important. E-courts are that means no need for you to waste time in going to court, filing the cases in NCLT and all those things. So government has come up with an idea of setting e-courts where you can sit at your place and you can attend your trials. So if there is a case, anything on your company, okay, no need for going to that and standing in front of NCLT or High Court or whichever the jurisdiction you want. Instead of that, you come on online proceedings. So online proceedings, they will help you out in resolving your case and all those things. You can just, wherever you are sitting in your office or in a factory, or if you are traveling outside for business purpose, you can directly be accessible to that places, and you can file a case and you can attend the case proceedings online itself. So that is one very beautiful change what the government has done. E-courts, concept of e-courts are very important because of, or else it will be really waste of time. Okay, if some case has happened in NCLT and the jurisdiction, let us say you are in Davangere and you need to come over to Bangalore. So how much time you need to spend, how much money you need to spend, how much energy you are spending traveling all the way from Davangere to Bangalore to attend a case. So going forward, this will happen online. You sit in Davangere itself and you answer the query and you close the case. So it saves a lot of your time, money, energy and all those things. So that is the e-court concept which the government has told. And the upgradation of portal for incorporation and all those things, MCA portal, which is under 3.0, they are updating to from 2.0 to 3.0 now. And disinvestment, one is LIC, they are going for new IPO, okay, IPO in LIC because they want to get more and more funds. I was telling right in the initial stage when I told what is budget, I told you government gets money from disinvestment. Okay, one is disinvestment. Disinvestment is by selling the stake in that particular business. But here they are not selling the stake. Here they are going for IPOs. So when they launch IPOs, they get a lot of money. So that money can be used for other development activities. So that is what they are thinking of, raising an IPO from LIC. So there is huge potential for raising money for the government because it definitely gets oversubscribed because it's a government company which is doing very good. And closure of sick and loss industries and agriculture. Yes, agriculture is one area which I did not try, and that's what I would just like to tell. MSP at a minimum 1.5 times of cost of production across all commodities. This is what the Swaminathan Committee on Agriculture talked about, and the government is committed to continue with the MSC scheme, whichever is there. Okay, so there are a lot of farm protests which is happening where they are saying MFP will go, MSP, they are taking out all those things. So in order to support that, government is for MSP. This particular thing was announced by the finance ministry, where they told 1.5 times the cost of production. So will be there as MSP, which will continue for 22 agriculture commodities. Okay, which was there as essential commodities, it will still continue. Then agriculture credit target has been increased to 16.5 lakh crores. This is one of the major boosts, because the Kisan credit card and all those schemes what the government has launched, they want to support this initiative. So rural credit, especially agriculture related credit, they have enhanced the limit now. So it is almost doubled now. Earlier it was 8.2 lakhs crores last year. Now they have made it to 16.5 lakh crores. It's almost doubled now. So they have now shown that they are caring for agriculture farmers. Okay, whatever the protest, they are saying that government is against farmers and all those things. In order to overcome all those allegations, now they have told that yes, we are supporting the farmers, and 16.5 lakh crores has been earmarked in order to protect the small and marginal farmers across India. Rural Infrastructure Development Fund has been enhanced to 40,000. This will create a lot of employment opportunity, especially after COVID, where the migration has taken place. A lot of people have gone back to their villages. 70% of them will not turn back to cities or urban areas. So they are trying to find out their own employment opportunities in their own rural areas there, where they were situated earlier. So in order to boost creating employment opportunities there, 40,000 crores has been earmarked for development activities. Development fund has been set up. So they have also focused on micro irrigation fund. Micro irrigation fund is again creating infrastructure facilities, okay, in the form of irrigation and all those things. Okay, and I think there are a lot of things which running out of time, I think so. Regarding the tax matters, nothing much was discussed except for small things, where they increase the for senior citizen people more than 75 years, right? They told that no need to file the income tax returns. Okay, that is one thing what they did, and there are a lot of measures which they have taken for startups. Okay, that is they have extended that eligibility for tax holidays for startups for 1 more year, and also the exemption from capital gain tax for startups, that also they have continued, retained it. It was there earlier, but it used to end by March 2021, but now they have extended up to March 2022. And housing sector, whatever that 1.5 lakhs additional interest exemption was there for affordable housing scheme, right? Even that they have continued till 2022. So no much changes in direct taxes because government doesn't want to touch the direct tax as of today. Because we were expecting that there will be some changes in the exemption limit of income tax and all those things, but somehow government did not address those important things, because they say that it's time for us to go for more spending. So we want to see that more and more spending happens from the domestic level. So they don't want to go for more of touching upon the tax matters, because it's a very sensitive area. And so they have not touched upon tax matters. But one thing what the madam as finance minister has hinted is there may be proposals which may be coming up in next 2-3 months, where they may go for small changes. So don't think that this budget is for 12 months. Okay, that's what the understanding what the madam was talking about when she was reading the budget. She told that there are scopes wherein we can go for some changes in the budget. That means whatever they have told is not subject to change. It will be subject to change in a couple of months. We can expect one more package which will be coming from the government side. And this is a very cautious move what the government is exercising, because they are looking at how the economy progress. Based on that, they are making the policy changes. That's a very important thing. It's not like something you do it today and you don't change it up to next 12 months. So you need to suffer because of that. No, Government has told, yes, these are the budget proposal which is there, subject to some changes which may happen, and depending upon how the economy moves around over a period of time, they will be making some changes. So that is one positive thing what Madam has told. Definitely in the next couple of months, we can see some proposals coming in direct tax, wherein they may increase that basic exemption limit from 1.5 lakhs to 3 lakhs. It may happen. We don't know in next 2-3 months, or they may give relief in various investments, and so that more disposable income is left in the hands of common man. So they may increase even the exemption from present 5 lakhs, where 87-year rebate is there, right? 12,500 rupees. That may go up to 8 lakhs. That's what we are thinking now. Up to 8 lakhs, there will be no tax. Beyond 8 lakhs to again 15 to 20 lakhs, there will be 20% bracket, like that. They may bring changes because they want more and more demand push at this point of time. So demand push happens only if people are left with a lot of money in their hands. More money, more spending. More spending leads to development. So government is right now focusing on those areas. So by these words, I will just conclude my talk. If you have any questions or if you want to ask anything, you are free to ask.
Dear students, if any questions are there, just you can raise it. So if not, I have some more questions. Just I'll interact. Any questions from student side? Okay. This 9% deficit. Hello?
Fiscal deficit.
Yeah, fiscal deficit. This 9% deficit, we can call it as a fiscal deficit, no?
Yeah, it's a fiscal deficit only.
Okay. Right. See how this minimum should be 3%. That's what they say. So when it comes to growth, so we have to bypass those things and we have to spend more and more. So they've increased to 9%. So whatever this 9% increased, whether it will go for subsidies and interest payment and all those things, and how much will be left out for real growth?
No. See, one thing is, the 3% is the international standard, what has been told.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not always 3%. Follows that 3%.
No,
that
I'm
too
not
in this pandemic.
This 9%, so whatever we have deficit is there, so definitely we have to borrow. Whatever we are borrowing, how much will go towards subsidies and interest payment, all those things are there.
Okay.
That time.
I understood your question. See, the total expenditure of this current year budget is 34 lakh crores.
Yes.
Okay, 34 lakh crore is the budget allocations what they have made for expenditure.
Yeah.
Out of that, capital expenditure is around 5.5 lakh crores. Okay. So the rest of the expenditure is in the form of R&D and your infrastructure development and all those things.
Okay.
Health is one of the biggest sector what the government is pushing towards. Research and development and innovation is the second sector what the government is pushing towards. Education is one of the sector where the government is trying to pitch in now. Okay. So out of this 9.5 lakh fiscal deficit, what they are talking about, what the borrowings they are going for, right?
Yeah.
And most of the borrowing come from small investors. That's what the beauty of this budget is all about. Okay. They are setting up a separate market, just like how share market is there for capital market investments, right? They are setting up a small market for raising only debt from the small investors.
Recently,
it's a similar platform. It's a similar platform. Please continue.
RBI has made announcement now for allowing retail investors to invest in.
Exactly. That is the one where they are coming up with new rules for setting up a different type of market altogether. Just like how you have a NSE, BSE and all these markets today, right? For your capital markets. Same type of thing is coming for your small scale investors who will be putting money in debt instruments. So what government has done, they have beautifully analyzed the things. They don't want to go for more of external borrowings now. They want to focus more on generating borrowings internally. One is LIC IPOs are there.
Okay.
Disinvestments is there. Government has disinvestment policy of selling away the stake in a lot of public sector companies.
Yeah.
And one is to raising money from small investors.
Again, foreign portfolio investment through the debt market.
Yeah, that is also, they have allowed that also, right? That is also one of the interesting thing where earlier they used to focus more on share markets. Now they will be focusing even on debt market also.
But when
And
you
most
borrow
of the
foreign-
FPIs, more of the FPIs, foreign portfolio investor, right?
yeah,
They are all Indians only, but they are rooting from different countries like Mauritius, Panama Islands, and all those things because they are all tax haven countries, right?
okay, okay.
So if they directly invest from
And,
India, they will be taxed.
Yeah.
So what these people are doing, they are doing through the other route.
Okay.
So
Okay.
most of the FPIs which are coming into India, 45% is from India only, domestic source only, that is.
Okay, okay. My next question is because since deficit is more, whether if you don't manage properly, because of that, inflation may go up, and other things because of controlling inflation may go for cutting interest rate or increasing interest rate. Many things may happen because of that. Whether we'll be according to plan or not. And again, degrading from world market or rating agencies.
Okay.
So those things worry the area, how they are going to manage. So
Sir, Dr. Ravi Kumar, can you just mute your speakers? Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Kumar, can
Yeah.
you mute it? Okay.
Yeah, I think he is muted. Yeah, sir. Yeah, continue, sir.
Yeah, that my main question is because deficit is more. So if you are not able to manage properly, so then inflation may go up. Slightly, it is already happening because petrol, diesel prices are going up and inflation may go up. And in order to control inflation, if you try to reduce this inflation, we may increase the interest rate. This cascading effect may not as per plan. That's what my this one. How they are going to face this situation?
Sir, in India, that's what I was telling you. In India, government doesn't interfere in monetary policies.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, so government only focuses on fiscal policy reforms. Monetary policy is taken care of by Reserve Bank of India. They are very stringent and adamant rules are there from RBI side where they don't listen to government also.
Okay.
Okay, whatever government says, right, they say that, okay, reduce the interest rate means they won't do it unless and until if it is feasible for them to take a call. They will decide based on what is correct for them.
And
That's
again,
how our banking structure is very strong today.
Yeah.
That is one
Worldwide, they are planning to degrade India because of deficit and many other factors. So how they are going to face this situation?
Sir, one side, if you see that rating agencies which were rating India in a negative sense, right? IMF, for example.
Okay.
IMF is one country which has come, one agency which has told that Indian economy will grow by 11.5%.
Okay.
So earlier during the COVID, they are the people who told Indian economy will go down by 8.2%.
Yeah.
But they have changed the ratings now because see, the only trustworthy country in Asia is India today.
Correct.
Okay, China has lost its trustworthiness.
Yeah.
People are not looking towards China, even though China, we are not competent enough to face China in any matters for that. Okay, be it trade, defense, or whatever it is.
Okay.
But still, there is a lot of positive signs when it comes to the question of how international community sees India as.
Okay.
So that is a positive thing what India encashes in the entire global market.
Okay.
So they are thinking that India should become a global hub for all the supply chain.
Okay. Okay.
So even though India, we ourselves, people know that we are not ready to face such type of competition, but still there is somewhere that views are there expressed by many countries across globe where they want India to lead all the activities.
Yeah.
But it's time for us to take up this challenge now.
Yeah.
Okay. So exactly, yes, inflation is one of the serious issue.
Yeah.
But if you see our food productivity, right? The food storage and food productivity in India, we have enough procurement of food.
Okay.
So there is no need for us to worry about the food security level.
Okay.
So earlier we used to spend a lot of subsidies on food itself.
Yeah.
Today we are reached in a situation where our capacity of food storage has gone up more than 4 to 5 times.
Okay.
That is first thing. Second thing is about foreign exchange reserves.
Yeah.
India has $583 billion foreign exchange reserve, which is there today.
My one more question regarding, are we able to manage properly? Because we are having excess of reserves, foreign
Yes.
exchange reserves.
Correct.
So if we effectively utilize, we can come out with whatever problems we are facing.
Yeah, that's what they are doing, right? So
Yeah.
we are comfortably placed today. Whatever the reserve is there, that can take up to 1.5 years of our trade deficit balance. Today
Exactly.
we are in a very comfortable position, especially when it comes to the dollar rate.
Yeah.
So if you have seen the latest trend of Indian rupee to dollar, right, it is
Yeah.
not fluctuating too much. It is somewhere around 74.3, 74.2 itself.
Exactly.
So Indian rupee is one currency across globe which is still a very standard rate has been maintained compared to Japan. If you see Japanese yen, right,
Yeah.
it has degraded by more than 200% in the last 6 months.
Okay.
Chinese yuan has also been degraded.
Yeah.
Indian currency is the only currency which is becoming stronger and stronger.
Okay.
So
Regarding,
it's a positive sign which is there with India today.
yeah, this UK recently they have declared they are going for electrical vehicle only for by 2030, right? So by that way, if you implement in India also, so that
Yes.
demand on petrol, diesel, crude oil will come down. Once crude oil this one comes down, then foreign exchange this thing will stop it, and
Yes.
based on that inflation also may come down, because major is petrol, diesel, so those things also contributing more towards inflation. So once you make it electrical vehicle compulsory by 2030 like UK, so we can many cascading effects can be taken care. That's what my
Yes, of course. Yes, we are right in that.
Yeah.
Only thing is, anything which you need to make it changes, right? It cannot happen within a short span of time.
Okay.
Because there is a lot of infrastructure and investment which has been done by a lot of companies, automobile companies.
Yeah.
So first and foremost thing is we need to phase it out in a phased manner. That's what they are doing. Okay, so government is promoting EVs. Along with that, even they are putting restriction on that Bharat 6 and all those things they are launching, right? New vehicles which should be Bharat 6 competent and all those things they are telling.
Yeah.
The objective behind this is slowly they want to move towards the clean green environment. That is to either go for green diesel or they need to go for electric vehicle.
Yeah.
So today, tomorrow, if the government says every in India will implement the electric vehicle, the first question which comes is whether we are equipped with the infrastructure wherein we give all the charging points at each and every place. Are we ready with that?
Yeah,
Do we have so
definitely.
much
That is
capacity of electricity which is getting generated in India? See,
Yeah.
these are the questions which needs to be asked.
correct.
So yes, whatever you are saying is correct.
Yeah.
Entire world, even the UAE and other petroleum-rich countries, right now they have come down. They are saying that going forward, we will not do business of extraction of petrol.
Correct.
It is extraction of oil. They also want to focus more on tourism or electronic manufacturing, all those things. Now they have rationalized their policies also, right?
Yeah.
UAE is now going and talking with Israel.
Yeah.
They are dead against countries. Israel and UAE were
Never.
enemies, totally enemy.
Yeah.
Today they are signing joint agreement. They want Israeli technologies to be implemented in UAE. Saudi Arabia is going and meeting Israel. See, this one never dreamt. We never dreamt that these type of countries will come close together.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a question of survival today.
Okay.
Okay, so if any country need to survive means they need to get rid of all those old things. They know that the effect of fossil fuels and all,
Yeah.
and the future is not on fossil fuels. Environmental issues are there. Underground charging of environment is happening. So if they want to sustain, they need to come out of this oil business. That's what they are now thinking. We move to other areas now.
Yeah.
It's happening now.
Okay. So this is my side. Any questions from student side? Anyone? Anything? Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah. Ravi, please.
Sir, very good evening.
Good evening. Sir.
Sir, I had a small doubt. You said that majority of the people are investing from not within the country, from outside, like foreign direct investment or something like that.
Yeah.
What is your opinion about crowdfunding?
Crowdfunding is an entirely different concept, right? Crowdfunding is domestically they are encouraging that funding to happen. It's one of the cheapest sources of funding, especially for seed funding.
But
So-
I heard that it is legally not agreed in India. Legally,
No.
it is,
Crowdfunding is accepted. Crowdfunding is accepted. We are talking about the funds which are coming outside in the form of foreign investments through a source from foreign countries. We are talking from that angle. Crowdfunding is very important investment money for startups, especially because they don't get funding from banks and all. They do get less support from banks or financial institutions. So the best way is either through angel funding or crowdfunding. They need to raise their seed money. So today, crowdfunding has become a very popular measure because of a lot of foreign people repatriating into India because of COVID. So many people have come back to India and they are having huge money, but they are looking at what is the best source for them to put that money in. So crowdfunding has become a very popular measure investment pattern in the last 8 months. So you see a lot of crowdfunding agencies which have been started, which are doing very good funding for startups, new startups.
okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Sir, one more thing regarding cryptocurrency. So many countries, they're making some rules and regulations to allow cryptocurrency usage and all.
Yes.
Suppose if we also follow those things, and it may give one more way to create a foreign exchange reserve. So what is your opinion? We expected a lot of things from this budget, but nothing has happened.
Sir, in cryptocurrency, Reserve Bank of India has already told it's not a legal tender money in India.
Yeah, that I know. They
Okay.
can make some regulations.
But only thing is,
Yeah.
why it's not a legal tender, still it's a pending question where people have gone to Supreme Court also. Okay, this case is pending in Supreme Court actually.
Yeah, correct. You are right.
RBI, whatever the RBI has told, right, it has been questioned because it is the role of RBI to come out with a policy
Correct.
saying that why cryptocurrency is not acceptable.
Correct.
Okay, see, they need to come up with a policy guidelines, which RBI is still working on that.
Exactly. That's
So even many people are there in India who are already trading on cryptocurrency. They are holding a lot of cryptocurrency.
yeah.
But tomorrow, if something happens, then they cannot file the case in Indian legal tangle because cryptocurrency is not clearly defined under Indian legal laws.
Correct.
So that's what Supreme Court has told to RBI. RBI come out with a policy on cryptocurrency. If you are telling it's not a legal tender, come out. What is that? What is legal tender? What is not legal tender in cryptocurrency? You come out with points. That's what they're asking.
Yeah.
So that matter is still lying in the court of law.
Yeah.
So, but as of today, many people are trading on cryptocurrency in India also.
Yeah. Even I also invested in one coin.
You are also there, huh? So how much it is trading today?
No, actually, it's a new coin. I invested and now it will be come to market next month. So then we will come to know the rate and all.
Okay,
So,
Bitcoins are trading at 3.5 lakh rupees.
Yeah. This actually, it is based on blockchain technology.
Yes,
that
correct.
technology is utilized everywhere in all respect.
Correct.
So
It's highly secured platform. It's highly secured platform.
That output of this cryptocurrency is not legal. That's what we worried. So why it is happening? Anyhow,
they are framing rules and regulations for that. I think if Globe is accepting, there is no point in India for not accepting it. They will be forced to accept it going forward.
Exactly.
Only thing is they need to bring the rules and regulation that they are working on it actually.
Yeah, definitely. We'll hope for the best.
Yeah.
So I think there's no questions from our student side. With this,
good evening, sir.
going to conclude. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please. Who is that?
I'm Shuram.
Sure, please.
Sir, what significant changes may happen if electronic vehicles enters Indian market?
On what you are asking? On what?
What significant changes
significant changes is in the form of environment, because United Nation has come
Not
up with strict environmental policy saying that making
not-
money. Yeah, yeah.
Not in a single perspective, sir. In all, like environment, economy, and all.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
Yes.
Environment is the biggest challenge now, because fossil fuels are not for environment. Okay, it emits carbon. Carbon emission has created a lot of black hole effects on our environment and all. So there is a lot of issues on climate change. So global United Nations Charter talks about all countries to come out of this environmental challenges.
Okay, sir.
The first and foremost thing is they want the clean environment, green environment, sustainable environment to continue over a period of time. So for that purpose, going towards electric vehicle is one of the major changes what the entire world is looking towards. Either you go by solar energy or you go by electrical energy or whatever you want, alternative energies, which are renewable in nature. So fossil fuels, one of the major drawback of fossil fuel is that more and more oil you extract from the wells, right? So you generate more and more heat from the bottom of the earth crust. So that will increase the temperature of the globe, and that temperature will lead to destroy of human as well as animal and as well as plant species. So now government has told will not go for all the countries have observed. There is something called as carbon tax. I don't know whether you have heard about all this concept. Carbon tax is there. So there is a lot of carbon credits which will be given for more companies which are not going for emission and all those things. So that credits can be encashed for a lot of beneficial purposes in various industries in coming years. So even India is also part of that carbon tax regime. So they will be taxing those companies which are emitting carbon levels beyond a certain allowable limit. So definitely EV is the next generation. We can think that in next couple of years they will be launching a lot of vehicles, EV platform vehicles, which will be there in India at a very competitive price also. So it is not only environmental related issues, it is much to do beyond environment also.
Okay.
Okay, with this, we are going to conclude today's presentation on Union Budget 2021-22. So analysis. So first of all, I should thank Kaushik for covering many things in detail. This is a really wonderful presentation. I never seen any webinar in presenting budget, especially in detail with basic inputs like this objectives, components, then deficit, various types of deficits, and various government instruments. So with this basic, we started this budget, and this budget he has covered main highlights and what has given a thrust from government side. All those things he has discussed in detail. This is the first time I'm hearing a budget analysis in a detailed explanation, and he has answered almost all the questions. So especially his answers was like government, and he has beautifully provided all the supporting things for a government. Anyhow, this project already stock market has accepted, means it shows that economy is in the right direction and whole world has applauded. So with this beautiful presentation, I am very much thankful to Kaushik. On behalf of Department Studies in Management, GMIT Davangere, I wholeheartedly thank Kaushik sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It was my pleasure, sir. I also thank the management and the department for inviting me.
Yeah.
And I love to address youngsters actually. That
Yeah,
is
really, you are having lot of knowledge. You want
Thank
to
you, sir.
invest in further classes,
Sure,
also,
sir.
maybe on GST especially,
Sure,
because
sir. Sure.
even today it is new for us. Many changes are happening, and
Sure, sir.
definitely we are going to invite for GST. And
Sure,
I'm
sir.
very thankful to you. It was wonderful presentation, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much, sir.
Sure,
I also
sir.
thank all the students, those who are presented and asked questions, and also to my colleagues. Thank you very much. With this, I am going to conclude. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir.
So ಗುರುದತ್ತ
ಅಲ್ಲದಿದೆನಾ